Braxcast time once again. This is the 15th episode of the Braxcast, and this is a pretty exciting one because the Yaira campaign has finished and it's begun fulfillment. People have already gotten their books. I haven't yet. I'll be getting mine next week, doing a review. Definitely going to be breaking down the Ripazine and the second set of Dokuman cards, as well as stuff from Yaira #1. Once I get my copies, but over $1.5 million made, 11,000 purchasers, almost 20,000 books, 19,000 books sold. And it's not on this infographic, but 199 of the Yaira statues, those $500 statues, were sold during the Yaira campaign. So it was a really successful campaign. People are already getting the books. Seems like it's a good experience. But of course, I'll be reviewing it on Velvet Publishing once I get the book in. And of course, once I have that reading copy of Yaira, and it's been a while, I'm definitely going to be going into spoilers, but there's also a little update that came basically from the Yaira campaign. Sezzle is a afterpay system. There's a lot of these services that will let you finance stuff, break it up into like payments. PayPal has the PayPal Pay in 4. A lot of credit cards will let you finance larger purchases. But the Rippaverse is teaming up with Sezzle as a buy now, pay later option for all orders above $100. You can put Rippaverse items on a payment plan. This is only for the US and Canada. And personally, I don't like that. I subscribe to the Dave Ramsey method of thinking about that all debt is bad, cash is king. You should only buy things if you have the money in savings and you want to, and you're okay with it going away. But of course, if you want to be a good business person, you do what your customers want. And this is a very standard thing for a lot of stuff. The Rippaverse is not the first company to offer these buy now, pay later options, especially in the comic book industry. And this happened with the Yaira statue. It's a $500 item. It's the most expensive single item of the Rippaverse. So, of course, people were like, well, I want to be able to finance it. And Sezzle is what's allowing that to happen. For the US and Canadian customers, what I would prefer going forward in the future for these high ticket items, these expensive ones, is having a deposit and then paying the rest when it becomes a ship. So something like the Yaira statue, paying $100 when it went for pre-order, and then later in the year or early next year when it actually starts to ship, being able to pay the rest of that and just save the money up in between your initial deposit and when the items start shipping, I think is a good thing for these for stuff like these statues and having these pre-orders. I think it will let more people get in on it, let people save rather than paying it off in payments. But having the option to do Sezzle and bundle up a bunch of stuff over $100 and then finance that, it's something that people want to do. It's something that people are going to be doing regardless. The idea of borrowing money to buy things is not going to go away regardless of what the Rippaverse does or does not do. And people wanted this, people will be able to do this. So this is, I think, definitely a good thing. Only US and Canadian customers for now, nobody else. So, but I'm sure that'll change as this contract solidifies itself and Rippaverse becomes more and more of a company. I'm sure they can get international afterpay processor, whatever you call it, or a bank to do these financing for other international customers. But with that, speaking of statues, I want to go over this question of the day. What other Rippaverse toys and statues are you hoping for? So on the last Braxcast, where we talked about the Yaira statue being revealed, I showed off this piece of fan art for the Ice and 2 fan art contest. Donnie Dicko, I think that was the guy who made this. Anyway, this idea of doing action figures with packing comics, I think, is a really cool thing. But if we're going to talk about another high quality resin statue like we see, with the Yaira statue that's being made by McFarlane Toys, an Ingrid Valdez statue would be a really fantastic thing. She's got the whips going on. I think that'd be a really cool thing to bring in a statue form, like a foot tall statue where she's got like her whips surrounding her. Would be a fantastic resin statue to make. I would definitely like that. And then doing like keeping on the Alpha Core, a free pack action figure set of the Alpha Core would be a really cool thing to do. And you could have attachments and stuff like that. You could sell them individually. You could sell them as a free pack. I think doing Alpha Core action figures is something I would get behind. But like if I'm going for a other than the obvious, Isom statue, right? Of course, I think that's going to happen regardless. But a statue of Ingrid Valdez that's 1/6 a foot tall, like the Yaira statue, where she's got her whips like flailing around her in a really cool way. I think that would be a fantastic thing, and I might just buy that one as well because it just looks so cool. To have an Ingrid Valdez statue for whips going all crazy. That would be a fantastic thing. But that's really my speculation there. But we're going to be talking about other things. So we had Alpha Core Autumn, we had Yaira Winter, and now we're heading into Goodspring, right? So Gooding is the next book. The pre-orders are going up this month June, going this June 1st, Saturday of it's the first day of June. It is a Saturday, Braxcast day of 2024. So Gooding, which is Will Conrad doing the art, Mike Barron who wrote the story, and this character was introduced in Ice number 2. His true one-shot graphic novel is going to be available for pre-order this month, and also the Rippaverse website is getting redone. So you're going to have this new membership experience. I imagine they're going to launch at the same time. It's going to be a very exciting time coming off of the exciting Yaira campaign. We're heading into Goodspring. And then Horseman is going to be coming along the way. So the art for that book is complete. So I imagine it's probably going to be ready by the end of the summer. So pre-orders for that book will go live September at the latest. It might even be an August thing. We'll see. But it's very exciting to have this book. And we've got this piece of art by Will Conrad. He, of course, did the art for all the Dokkan cards. He did cover B for Yaira number 1. So he's a fantastic artist. So seeing his work paired up with a script from Mike Barron, who is a fantastic writer. He did The Punisher one in the 80s. He wrote Thin Blue Line, which is was an independent book that was crowdfunded. I backed and I read that, and I really liked that book. So I can personally say Mike Barron is a good writer. He knows how to write good comic books, and I think Gooding is definitely going to be one very interesting character. And it's also going to be very interesting to see what this website update entails and how it goes to be built, how it goes to build that experience for Rippaverse Studios, because this is what Eric has mentioned, not only with the fact that if people want more Rippaverse Studios content to back the memberships, I'll give them funding and allow them to do that, but also using it as a platform to distribute Rippaverse Studios content, stuff that's more long form than the trailer. So having like a Netflix-esque service where you have this access to this growing library of content. Are we going to see what his intentions are for that with this website update? Probably not. There really isn't a lot of stuff they have in the pipeline to really have that much content to justify doing a reverse studio streaming service. We're not there yet. I think we're going to get there one day, but that day is not today. Very much focused on the comic books, but it's going to be very interesting to see if that groundwork is being laid out for Rippaverse Studios to distribute content through the website. I think that's going to be a really cool thing. It could launch with some sort of short that you have to pay to become a member to see. I think that would be a very interesting thing to do. But it's just going to be very interesting to see this melding continue between Rippaverse.com and the members site, because you have the forum, which I post to. You have these membership perks that they do provide them, but they haven't really invested into it. They haven't really done this really cool crossover stuff yet. And I think once they have that new website, they're going to be able to provide a cool online experience for the fans of the Rippaverse, more so than just having the physical goods being shipped out to people. I think that's what's on the horizon for the Rippaverse. But with Goodspring, this is what I'm calling it. We had like I said, Alpha Core Autumn, Yaira Winter, Goodspring. Can't come up with a Horseman Summer pun. My apologies there. But this being the next book, I think it's going to be a really good thing. It's going to be a good transitional thing for the story wise, because it's going to establish Gooding's character, so we learn more about it. So when he appears inevitably in Isom 3, maybe I'm not sure if he's in Yaira 1, but I'm sure he'll be in Isom 3. I'm sure he could be in Alpha Core 2. He could be in a bunch of other books from the Rippaverse, and we'll have that wealth of knowledge about this character, this deep dive into him as he gets his own graphic novel. And because I imagine Gooding and Gooding Services are going to be very important because he services Shadow Valley, which is where Isom's ranch is. So I imagine he's going to cross over a lot. And the fact that he knows, a character like Bloodroof, I'm sure he knows lots of other Xcepts. And as, Isom and Yaira and Alpha Core are crossing over these other Xcepts, they'll know Gooding, and Gooding can either, be like the central node in the network of Xcepts because people are calling him for X, Y, and Z because of his technical skills or the gadgets he makes, all these sorts of things. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that um, aspect of the Rippaverse gets established with Gooding. And it's also going to be interesting to find out what's going on in this two-page spread. Because at first I've seen it, of course, you got this like tactical spec ops thing. You got all this gas here. Of course, you got this, this corpse here. You got this corpse there. Who knows what's happening with this? We'll find out very soon because the pre-orders go live. And of course, this is going to be the first book released not through a campaign. Other than the art of Joe Bennett, of course, that was put on afterwards. But that's, and I guess you got Isom 1 cover the Creators Edition. But like the first like actual like book being launched in the non-campaign format, where it's a new story, like a full-fledged comic. That's really it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how people respond to a book being launched not in the campaign format, how well it's going to do, what the sort of intentions to maintain that transparency in terms of the books sold. I've introduced a concept in previous episodes of having a tab on the Rippaverse website that has the monthly sales and making that retroactive to 2022 when the Rippaverse launched. I think that would be a good thing. I'm not sure if that's something they're willing or able to do with all the way accounting and bookkeeping works, but I think it would be a very interesting thing to have the sales released on a month-to-month basis, like Comic-Con. Well, I guess they still do, but the numbers aren't the most accurate. All those distributor, things that go on in the comic book industry, all these middlemen, right? But it would be cool to have someone like Rippaverse Publishing, who, they sell the books directly to the customers. They also sell to retailers as well. So they have the numbers of exactly the books that were sold direct to customer and through retailers, and having those numbers on a sales tab that anyone can access to will be really good for transparency. So that's something that I really would like the Rippaverse to do, but to at least have if we have like a month-long pre-order window for Gooding to list the covers, if you do A, B, C, and D, or they only do A and B, list those in a similar page, have like the Gooding like sales tracker page, and then you can have that basic thing. But this isn't really going to be a campaign where we have like a bunch of Gooding shirts and like a second set and like a third set of Dokemon cards and all this stuff. It's not a full-fledged campaign. They're just going to be dropping the book. I imagine it'll have 2 to 4 covers. There might be a Gooding shirt, might not be, who knows. But there's not going to be much associated, if any, associated merch for Gooding and Horseman. I guarantee Gooding and Horseman are not being released with the campaign format. But I definitely, like I said, I think they've got enough time for Bloodroof #1 and for Isom #3 to be campaigns. Those 2 books, in my mind, they have to release in the campaign format, right? You don't have to have these big 75-day campaigns, but to have like a 2 to 1 month campaign window and have a little bit of stuff to keep the fans excited and have that ticker and have it be a campaign, because these campaigns have been what launched Rippaverse. It's what kept the momentum of the Rippaverse. So people love the campaigns, and for a book like Isom 3 that's concluding the ill-advised arc that launched Rippaverse, it's very important for it to go out with a bang. Campaign Bloodroof #1, fan favorite from Isom #2. Everyone loves Sydney Bloodroof. We want to find out more about her. She should launch with an epic bang and have a campaign associated with her. Hopefully Halloween, that would be the perfect time to launch. Of course, Jen and Sylvia Soska are writing that one. They also write Yaira #1. Almost forgot to mention this. They did an interview with Eric July in the warehouse that got uploaded today. You can go to the Rippaverse YouTube channel, check that out. I watched some of it. Very interesting to see their thought process behind things, and it's also just very nice to see people who are charismatic on camera, and people who appreciate the fan base on camera. But I think with that, I've rattled on long enough. I can only hype up Goodspring long enough, but that is really what's to be expected with the Rippaverse in the month of June, is that we're having Gooding launch along with a revamped website. So those are the 2 big things. And of course, as Yaira number 1 fulfills and people get access to it, we can of course go into all those juicy spoilers, which I'm going to try and avoid with the Braxcast for a little bit. I am going to go over the Rippaverse and the Dogumon cards in the Braxcast. Those will each get their episodes. That'll be later on. Those will go out this month. Going to be going on a camping trip. So I'm going to have to pre-record some stuff, and that will be the pre-recorded stuff. It's the Rippaverse and the Dogumon cards. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hopefully you guys are excited to read Yaira number 1 finally. Goodspring or Gooding. Experience Goodspring with Gooding, and then Horseman, which has completed its artwork. So that's most likely going to hit its summer release that was promised. So it's very exciting times for the Rippaverse. Can't wait to see what's next. And if you want to see what's next, then follow the Brax. Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.